Tomorrow, both Donald Trump and Joe Biden will face uncertain, challenging futures in very different ways.
That's the topic of this week's commentary by Eyewitness News political analyst and Gambit columnist Clancy.
The lives and fortunes of Joe Biden and Donald Trump will change dramatically at noon tomorrow in Washington. Biden will become America's 46th president, promising to promote unity. Trump will leave office amid a legacy of doubt and discord, and both men face daunting challenges. Biden faces a sharply divided Congress and even divisions within his own party on many issues. Trump faces impeachment and a raft of other legal problems, including potential state and federal criminal charges. The challenge for the rest of us is to heal as a people. That won't happen easily or quickly, but it needs to happen. Many of our leaders are calling for unity, but it really comes down to us citizens. If we lead, our so-called leaders will follow.
This has been an expression of opinion by Clancy. Email your thoughts to commentary@wwltv.com.